Welcome to Vedanta IS. So, as you all know, we are conducting test for Prelims 2026 and this is the test number 22. Okay, so today I am going to discuss test number 22 and this is the full length test. Okay, and the questions we have the Vedanta IS has given this test are very important for your preliminary examination. Okay, so let's get started. The first question is, in the context of Buddhist philosophy and various sects, consider the following statement. So, Tantika and Samitiya were the two major philosophical schools of Mahayana Buddhism. This is wrong because these two philosophical schools were related to Hinayana Buddhism. Okay, so first statement is wrong. According to Buddhism, the theory of Pratyutsamutpada determines the cause and effect relationship of all phenomena in the world. Yes, this is correct because the entire Buddhist philosophy is centered around this Pratyutsamutpada. Okay, and the third is the Madhyamika school was founded by Acharya Nagarjuna, which emphasized the concept of sunyata, okay, emptiness. Okay, so this is correct. So 1 and 2, one is wrong, 2 and 3 are correct. Okay, so the answer is B. Okay, so the answer of first is B. Now, second, in the philosophical and spiritual context of Upanishad, which of the following statement is true? The word Bhakti is clearly mentioned for the first time in Mundaka Upanishad. Wrong. The four ashram, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa were described extensively for the first time in the Chandogya Upanishad. Wrong. The Kathopanishad and Kathopanishad describes a various dialogue on the mystery of Atma between the boy Nachiketa and Yama, the god of death. Yes, this is correct. So the question number 2, answer of question number 2 is C. Okay. Now the third is match the following: Lothal, Kalibanga, Baniwali and Banwali and Dholavira. Okay, Lothal it is known for dockyard. Kalibanga it is known for plough field. Okay, so first the answer of first is 2. Second, okay, the second B is number 1. Okay, so the answer is B. Baniwali, Dholavira is advanced water. Dholavira is known for advanced water management system and reservoir, and Banwali is known for terracotta plough. Okay, so the answer of question number 3 is 1 B, A2, B1, C4 and D3. Okay. So the answer of question number 3 is B. Now fourth, with reference to the major Indus Valley civilization site Rakhigari, consider the following statement. It is the only Paleolithic site located in the Ghaggar Bhakra river plain in the Hisar district of Haryana. This is wrong because Rakhigari belongs to Indus Valley civilization. So first is incorrect. According to the latest archaeological research and excavation, it is the largest site of the Indus Valley civilization in the Indian subcontinent. Yes, this is correct. DNA analysis of human skeleton found here has played an important role in understanding the genetic structure of recent South Asian population. Yes. So the first is wrong. The answer is 2 and 3 are correct. Okay. So the fourth answer, answer of question number 4 is B. Okay. Now, question number 5. In the context of ancient Indian sculpture style, consider the following statement. The Gandhara art style shows a clear Greek-Roman influence in which Buddha's statue are depicted with the curly hair and moustaches. Yes, this is correct. The Mathura art style was completely indigenous. Yes, it is correct. And only statues related to Buddhism were made in it. No, this is incorrect because not only the statue of Buddha was created in this style, but also the Bhagwan Mahavira and other deities were also made in this style. So this is incorrect. Number 2 is incorrect, where white marbles has been mainly used in the Amaravati style and it contains extensive depiction of Jataka tales. Yes, so this is correct. So answer of question number 5 is 2 is incorrect, 1 and 3 are correct. So the C is the answer. Okay. Now consider the following philosophy and literature. Okay, in context of ancient Indian philosophy and literature, consider the following: philosophy or literature and author exponent. Samakhya philosophy, Maharshi Kapila. This is Maharshi Kapil. Yes, Samkhya philosophy was given by whom? Maharshi Kapil. Mirchikatikam, it is a book written by it is a play written by Sudraka, not by Vishakha Datta. Yoga Sutra, it is Maharshi Patanjali. Yes, it is correct. So 2 is incorrect, 3 is right. Devi Chandraguptam was written by Sudraka. No, it was written by Vishakha Datta. So only 1 and 3 are correct. So 2 pairs are correct. Okay. So answer of question number 6 is B. Now, in the context of Ikta system of Delhi Sultanate, consider the following statement. Ikta was a transferable land revenue assignment provided to military officers in lieu of their salary. Yes, it was. This system was established by Iltutmish. Okay. Iqtidars had hereditary rights over the Ikta. No, this is not correct. So 2 is incorrect because Iqtidar had no hereditary rights over the Iktas. Okay. The Iktas were transferable and could hand it over to their successor without the Sultan permission. No. So 2 is incorrect. Ikta-e Tamlik were those Iktas which were given permanently by the Sultan, while Ikta-e Istigal were only short-term revenue rights. So this is correct. So 1 and 3 are correct. So the answer of question number C is B. Okay. Now, the next question is, in the context of administrative reforms and architecture of the Delhi Sultanate, consider the following statement. Alauddin Khilji established a department named Diwan-e-Mustakraz, whose purpose was to recover the outstanding land revenue. Correct. During the reign of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, the true arc was used for the first time. No, this is wrong because Bourbon was the first ruler under whom this system was first time introduced in India. And Alai Darwaza was constructed by whom? It was constructed by Alauddin Khilji, not by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. So this is incorrect. Sultan Firoz Shah Tughlaq established Diwan-e-Khairat department, which was established dedicated to the help of orphan and widows. Yes, this is correct, but one thing is also important. Only those orphan and widows who belongs to Islam. Okay. So 1 and 3 are correct. So C is correct. Question number 8. The answer of question number 8 is C. Now, 2 statements are given below, one of which is labeled as assertion and the other is reason. Okay, assertion, the revolt of 1857 was not just a sepoy mutiny, but a massive explosion of accumulated public discontent against colonial rule. Yes, this is correct. The East India Company doctrine of lapse and high rates of land revenue had united various sections of society such as farmer, landlords and princely estates against British rule. Yes, this is correct. And both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. So the answer of question number 9 is A. Okay. Now, question number 10. In the context of failure and consequences of the revolt of 1857, consider the following statement. During this revolt, the educated middle class of India and major princely states like Patiala and Gwalior actively supported the rebels. Wrong. They were the supporter of British Empire, East India Company. Okay. And they helped the East India Company in suppressing this revolt. Second, after the revolt, the administration of India was transferred to the British Crown by the Act of 1858. Yes, it is correct. And the Board of Control was abolished. Yes, this Board of Control was set up in 1784 by Pitt's India Act. So this is also incorrect. This is correct. Sorry. The first is incorrect. On the basis of the recommendation of the Field Commission, the army was reorganized, in which the proportion of European soldiers were increased, and the army was organized on the policy of divide and rule. Which of the above statement are correct? So 2 and 3 are correct. 1 is not correct. Okay. So B is the answer. Now, in the context of the provision of the government of the Indian Act 1909, Moreland Minto Reform, consider the following statement. It significantly increased the size of the central and provincial legislature council, where official majority were maintained mandatory in provincial council. This is incorrect because at that time provincial legislature council was not set up. It mandated the first statutory provision for an India to be shared with the executive council of the viceroy and governors. Yes, this is correct. It introduced the system of communal representation for Muslims by accepting the concept of separate electorate. Yes. So for question number 11, the answer is 2 and 3. So B is the correct answer. B is the correct answer. Now question number 12. In the government, in the context of diarchy system implemented by the Government of India Act 1919, consider the following statement. Under the provincial subject, under this, provincial subjects were divided into two clear category, reserved and transferable subject. Yes, it is right. The first time the subjects was divided into, provincial subject was divided into reserved and transferable subject. Transferable subjects were administered by the governor with the help of ministers responsible for the legislative council. Yes, transferable subject was basically administered by the governor with the help of ministers. Important and sensitive subjects like land revenue, finance, justice and police were kept under the transferred list. No, it was kept under reserved list. This act introduced the bicameral system and direct elections at the center. Yes, this is correct. So 1, 2 and 4 are correct. 1, 2, 4 are correct. So the correct answer of question number 12 is B. Now, in the context of the functioning and social base of Swadeshi movement, consider the following statement. Okay. During the Swadeshi movement, voluntary organizations like Swadeshi Bandhav Samiti played an important role in mass mobilization, which carried the message of Swadeshi to remote village. Yes, this is correct. Rabindranath Tagore calling for Atma Shakti emphasized constructive Swadeshi, whose objective was the social and economic regeneration of village. Yes, this is correct. This movement also affected the field of Indian art and education, resulting in the establishment of institutions like the Indian Society of Oriental Art and Bengal National College. Yes, this is correct. The movement had the full support of all sections of society, especially the Muslims, peasants of East Bengal participation in it enthusiastically. So this is not correct. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 are correct. Question number 12, 13. Okay. Question number 13 is, this movement had the full support of all sections of society, especially the Muslim peasants of East India participated in it enthusiastically. So this is not correct. Initially they have taken part. Okay. So the answer is 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3 is correct. Maratha powers and treaty with British. The Treaty of Salwai of 1782 ensured peace between the Maratha and the British East India Company for the next 2 decades. Yes, this is right. Mahajadi Scindia played the main mediator role in this treaty because he wanted time to strengthen his hold in North India. Correct. So both are correct. A and R are correct, and R is the correct interpretation of A. So answer is A. 15. In the Calcutta session 1906, the word Swaraj was used for the first time under the presidency of Dadabhai Naoroji, whose objective was to achieve self-government similar to the other self-governing colonies of Britain. Yes, it is correct. In the Lucknow session 1916, presided over by the Ambika Chand Majumdar, not only did the moderates and extremists reunite, but the Congress also formally accepted the Muslim League demand for separate electorate state. This statement is also correct. In the Haripura session 1938, held under the presidency of Subhash Chandra Bose, the National Planning Committee was formed for the first time with Jawaharlal Nehru and appointed as its chairman. Correct. So all pair are correct. Question number 15 is C. In the context of the 9th century reform movement and their social base, consider the following statement. Brahmo Samaj resisted the infallibility of the Vedas and argued that no scripture is above human logic and reason. Correct. Satyasodhak Samaj used logic texts to spread anti-caste consequences, and Savitri Phule provided an organizational framework to the movement for the education of low-caste women. Correct. The Young Bengal movement took inspiration from the ideals of the French revolutions but failed to penetrate rural India due to opposition from conservative section of society and its limited urban base. Yes. So for question number 16, all are correct. So 16, answer is C. Now, in the context of social reforms efforts in South India and Western India, consider the following statement. Self-respect movement. This movement was started by E.V. Ramaswamy Periyar, started in it as a violent rebellion against Brahmanical patriarchy and religious rituals aiming to restore Dravidian identity. Okay. Now, option number B, Paramahans Mandali. It was founded in Maharashtra by Dadoba Pandurang and Bal Sastri Jambekar were members took a place to break caste bound by eating together in secret meeting. Yes. Dharma Sabha. This organization established by Radhakant Dev was created in opposition to Raja Ram Mohan Roy efforts to abolish sati, seeking to protect conservative belief against British intervention in social reforms. Yes. So 2 and 3 are correct because self-respect movement was not violent movement. Now, question number 18. Consider the following statement. Following pair of prominent newspaper. Indian Mirror, Devendranath Tagore. Okay. So question number 18 is Indian Mirror, Devendranath Tagore. The Socialist, S.A. Dange. Yes, correct. Bahishkrit Bharat, Jyotirao Phule. Correct. Tahzeeb ul Akhlaq, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Yes. So only 3 pairs are correct. Question number 18 is Bahishkrit Bharat was not Jyotirao Phule, it was Babarao Bhimrao Ambedkar. So the Socialist and 2 and 4 are correct. So only 2 pairs are correct. In the context of the partition of Bengal of 1905, consider the following statement. Curzon administration cited administrative convenience as the official reason for the partition, but its real objective was to weaken the center of Indian nationalism growing in Bengal. Yes, it is correct. The plan for this partition attempt to create a divide on religious ground, where East Bengal was established as a Muslim majority area and West Bengal as a Hindu majority area to disrupt unity. Correct. The Swadeshi movement arising in opposition to the partition made constructive programs like national education, self-reliance a part of the political agenda for the first time, broadening the base of the Indian National Congress. So all pairs are correct. So answer of question number 19 is C. Okay, 19 is C. Now, in the context of the subtle difference between the constitutional discretionary power and situational discretionary power of the governor, consider the following statement. Okay, question number 20. While the president has no constitutional discretion, the governor has been directly permitted by the constitution to act without the advice of the council of ministers in certain specific manner. Yes, it is correct. The appointment of chief minister by the governor when there is no clear majority is a situational power, while the discretion regarding rebel area under the 6th schedule is constitutional power. Correct. If a dispute arises between the governor and the council of ministers on whether a subject is discretionary, the decision of the governor is final and cannot be challenged in any court. Wrong. So only 2 pairs are correct. So question number 20 is B. Question number 20 is no, look, if a dispute arises between the governor and the council of ministers on whether a subject is discretionary, the decision of the governor is final and cannot be challenged in any court. Yes, all pairs are correct. All 3 are correct. So question number 21. In the context of asymmetric nature of Indian federalism and the federal balance, consider the following statement. Article 371 A to J of the Indian Constitution moved India away from symmetrical federalism, where different states are granted unequal power based on their historical and cultural specific. This is correct. The representation of a state in the Rajya Sabha on the basis of population and not on the basis of equality reinforce the centripetal character of Indian federalism. Correct. The Inter-State Council and Zonal Council have been established to make the cooperative nature of federalism mandatory, thereby reducing the center control over the autonomy of the state. Okay. So question number 21, all pairs are correct. Okay. All pairs are correct. Now question number 22, consider the challenge of fiscal federalism and constitutional limits in center-state relation. The constitution allows state to take direct external borrowing from abroad, provided the central government has provided a guarantee of the previous debts of the concerned state. Direct external borrowing. No, this is not correct. Okay. Under the Article 293, if any central debt is outstanding against the state, it cannot take any loans without the consent of the center, which limit the financial autonomy of the state. The recommendation of the Finance Commission are only advisory, but according to the Supreme Court, their rejection by the central would be considered a violation of the principle of comparative federalism. Yes, this is correct. Okay, this is not correct. So only one is correct. So answer is A. Now question number 23. Under Article 131, any political dispute such as election related disputes between the center and the state is not accepted under original jurisdictions. Only a question of legal rights can be heard. Okay. So this is correct. If a private citizen files a suit against the central government in which the state is also a party, such a case does not come under the exclusive jurisdictions of the Supreme Court under Article 131. Correct. The excluding interstate water disputes from Article 131 is evidence that the framers of the Constitution wanted to limit some sensitive federal issue only to legislative and administrative solution. Yes, all three pairs are correct. All three are correct. So all three pairs are correct. Now consider the following of the consider the power of the governor to reserve bill, Article 200, and the principle of federal supremacy. The governor is obliged to reserve any bill for the president that derogates from the power of the state high court, even if the Council of Ministers has not given such advice. Okay. 24. Look, any bill, no, not all bill. In the case of money bill, governor has no right. Okay. Once the governor reserves the bill for the president, the governor has no further role regarding the future of the bill. Correct. If the president returned a reserved bill to the state legislature for recommendation, reconsideration, and the legislature pass it again with 6 months, the president is constitutionally bound to give his assent? No. So only one yes, president is constitutionally bound to give. President is constitutionally bound. No. Once the governor reserves a bill to the president, governor has no further role. Yes, this is correct. If the president return a reserved bill to the state legislature for reconsideration and the legislature passes it again with 6 months, the president is constitutionally bound to give his assent? No. So the governor obliged to reserve any bill for the president derogates from the power of the state's high court. Okay. Yes. First, because here is derogates from the power of the state high court. Yes. So 1 and 2 are correct. Okay. Third is not correct. In the context of the protection of life and personal liberty, Article 21, in the Indian constitutional system, consider the following statement. Under Article 21, procedure established by law means that if the legislature has made a law, the court cannot examine the substantive fairness or reasonableness of the law. Procedure established by law, wrong. Okay. According to the modern interpretation of Supreme Court, Article 21 is not limited to the protection of life but include the life with dignity and all those aspects which help in making the life of a man or woman meaningful. Yes, this is correct. The right obtained under Article 21 cannot be suspended by order of the president even during the emergency. Correct. So 2 and 3 are correct. Okay, 2 pairs are correct. Question number 26. Now, according to the Constitution, preventive detention can be used only in emergency situations like war, external aggression, not during normal peacetime. Wrong. Although a person detained under preventive detention does not have normal legal rights, it is the constitutional obligation of the state to inform the detainee of the ground of detention as soon as possible, provided it is not against the public interest. Yes, the exclusion power to make law related to preventive detention, it's lie only to the parliament. State legislatures have no right to make law. Wrong. So only one is correct, and that is only one is the answer. Question number 26A. Okay. Now question number 27. In the context of compulsory provision of the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, consider the following statement. To constitute a Gram Sabha at the village level and to ensure direct election of chairperson of Panchayat at all level. direct election of chairperson of panchayat wrong, because chairpersons are not of panchayats are not elected directly. Okay. Now, following statement: to constitute a gram sabha at the village level and to ensure direct election of chairperson of panchayat at all level, to provide reservation of at least 1/3 of seats for women at all panchayat level, correct. To establish an independent state commission in each state to conduct panchayat elections, correct. To provide for reservation of backward class in the post of chairperson of intermediate and district level, this is also correct. No, not backward, ST and OBC. So 27, question number 27, C, all only 3 pairs are correct. 1, 2, 3 and 4 are correct. In the context of functional and fiscal autonomy of the panchayat raj system in India, consider the following: full power to make law and implement of all 29 subjects listed in the 11th schedule has been directly provided to the panchayat by the constitution, correct. The recommendation of the State Finance Commission are limited only to the distribution of taxes between panchayat and the state government. They cannot give any suggestions regarding the audit of panchayat. The Gram Sabha has the constitutional power to ensure monitoring and accounting of development works through social audit conducted in that area. Wrong are correct. Only one is correct, and that is 1. So question number 28, answer is A. In the context of citizenship provisions in India and the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, consider the following statement: Article 11 of the Constitution provides exclusive power of the Parliament to make law related to the acquisition and termination of citizenship. Okay, correct. Under CA 2006, minority communities from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh have been exempted from definition of illegal migrants. Yes. The process of termination of citizenship, deprivation of citizenship by the central government comes entirely under the preview of judicial review. No. So question number 29 is yes, all 3 are correct. Judicial review, yes, under the preview of judicial review. In the context of process and qualification of the election of the president of the following, consider the following: the electoral college of the president includes elected members of both House of Parliament and elected members of the Legislative Assembly of all states, including union territories. Yes, correct. The value of vote of each member of the electoral college is equal so that uniformity of representation is maintained between different states. Correct. If the Legislative Assembly of a state is dissolved at the time of the presidential election, the election cannot be stopped, and the votes of the states are excluded from the count. Question number 30, the answer is B. Only 2 pairs are correct. Okay. Yes, only 2 pairs are correct. In the context of the constitutional position of the president and their discretionary power, consider the following: the Constitution does not explicitly provide Protecting the interest, this is incorrect. Protecting the interest of the educational and economically backward section of society, especially the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, is an obligation of the states that play a central role in establishing balance between fundamental rights and activities. Correct. According to the constitutional instruction, the primary duty of the state is only to constitute panchayat. According to the constitutional instruction, the primary duty of the state is only to constitute providing them with administrative and financial power depends entirely in the discretion of the state executive. No. So only two pairs are correct. In the context of the legal nature of directive principle of state policy and the implementation, consider the following statement. Although the directive principles are non-judiciable, the court can keep these principles in mind while determining the constitutional validity of law. Okay. It is mandatory for the state to organize the units of self-government at the village level in such a way that they have the capacity to function as an independent political unit. Correct. If the state fails to provide free legal aid, citizen can directly challenge it in Supreme Court on the basis of violation of constitutional instruction. No. Only one is correct, and that is only 2 is correct. So A is the answer. 34. In the context of various provisions of the Indian Constitution and their foreign sources, consider the following. In the Constitution, in the Indian Constitution, the principle of procedures established by law is taken from the Japanese Constitution, while the idea of rule of law is inspired by the British Constitution, constitutional tradition. In the collection of the active principle of state policy, there is an influence of the Irish Constitution, but the idea of method of election of the president is taken from the Constitution of the United States of America. The provision of joint sitting with both the House Parliament is taken from the Australian Constitution, while the procedure of amendment of the Constitution has been taken from the South African Constitution. The republic structure and the base and the ideal of liberty, equality and fraternity are taken from the French Constitution. So in this 34, only 3 pairs are correct, and that is republican structure is taken from liberty. No, French. So 1, 2, 3 are correct. 3 pairs are correct. In the context of the National Commission on Scheduled Tribes, consider the following. It is the original constitution. In the original constitution, there was a provision for separate commission for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, which were later amendment through Article 89 Constitutional Amendment Act 2003. This commission not only examined the constitutional protection of tribes, but it also has the power of a civil court while investigating any matter related to the violation of the rights of tribes. It is the constitutional duty of the commission to participate in the planning process of socio-economic development of tribes and present in annual reports directly on the floor of the parliament. So 35, only 2 pairs are correct. Okay, first is not correct. All money bills are financial bill, but all financial bills are not money bill. Yes, correct. Money bills are limited only to those subjects specified in Article 110, while financial bills may include matter of general legislation in addition. Correct. So A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation. So question number 36, answer is A. 37. The shift of in the context of the dynamics of jet streams and their impact on Indian monsoon, consider the following statement. The shift of the subtropical western jet stream from the south to the north of the Himalaya is a precondition for the burst of the tropical jet stream is formed due to the rapid heating of the Tibetan plateau and play an important role in determining the intensity of the southwest monsoon. Correct. Compared to the polar front jet stream, the subtropical jet stream is more continuous and intense because it remains under the greater influence of the Coriolis force at high latitude. So for question number 37, all are correct. 37, all are correct. In the context of the origin and structure of tropical cyclone, consider the following. Within the eye of the cyclone, there is a rapid ascent of air, resulting in a low pressure and cloudless sky there. Correct. The main reason for the higher frequency of cyclone in the Bay of Bengal compared to the Arabian Sea is the relatively higher temperature of the surface water there and the high inflow of fresh water. Correct. High pressure of vertical wind shear, high presence of vertical wind shear is a necessary ideal condition for development of tropical cyclone. Correct. So for 38, all are correct. मैम चाय मिलेगा? Now, consider the following. Consider the effect of El Nino and La Nina event on global atmospheric circulation. During El Nino years, the Walker circulation weakens, leading to the unusual rain in the central and eastern Pacific. Yes, during La Nina event, there is a possibility of higher than normal monsoon rainfall in Indian subcontinent, while there is an extreme drought on the western coast of South America. Yes, correct. During the El Nino Moduki, unusual heating is observed in the central part instead of the eastern part of the tropical Pacific, generating rainfall patterns different from a normal El Nino. Correct. So question number 39 is C. Okay, all are correct. Now 40. In the context of the tricellular model of global atmospheric circulation, consider the following. The Hadley cell extends between the equatorial low pressure and the subtropical high pressure belt, forming the basis of the flow of trade wind. Correct. The Ferrel cell is a thermally directed cell formed by the convergence of polar and subtropical air mass. Subsidence of air occurs at the hot latitude, resulting in the development of anticyclonic condition and desert climate. Okay. So for 40, only 2 pairs are correct. Question 2 is incorrect. In the context of the theories of the origin of the Indian monsoon and influence factor, consider the following statement. The Madden-Julian oscillation is a dynamic phenomena that affects the cycle of break and active phase during the Indian monsoon. The positive phase of Indian Ocean dipole has the potential to counterbalance the negative impact of Nino. Yes, El Nino. The northward shift of the ITCZ during the summer is purely a thermal phenomena and has no relation to the physical barrier of the Himalaya. Yes, it is a thermal phenomena. Okay. So for 41, the answer is B. Only 2 pairs are correct. Okay. 2 and 3 are correct. Consider the interrelation between the world's monsoon system and the seasonal shift of the pressure belt. The East Asian monsoon system is more sensitive to the fluctuation of the jet stream compared to the Indian monsoon. System is more sensitive to the function of jet stream compared to the Indian monsoon. The main reason for the seasonal reversal of direction of monsoon wind is the anomaly in the heating of water and land, along with the influence of Coriolis force. Correct. The arrival of the monsoon in northeast Australia is result of the distribution of ITCZ in the southern hemisphere, which occurs opposition to the pattern of the Indian monsoon. Correct. So 2 pairs are correct. 42 is C. The eastern monsoon system is more sensitive to the fluctuation in the jet stream compared to the Indian monsoon. Okay, all pairs are correct. 42. 43. In the context of the structure of river system of South India and their flow pattern, consider the following. The course of peninsular river is primarily determined by geological faulting and tilting, which is why rivers like Narmada, Tapi flow into the Arabian Sea. Correct. Water availability remains constant throughout the year in the catchment area of Kaveri because of it receives rainfall from both southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon. Correct. Compared to the sediments found in the delta region of the Mahanadi and Godavari, the concentration of allowable deposits is higher in the delta of Krishna river. Okay. 43. 43 is C. Compared to the sediments found in the delta region of Mahanadi and Godavari, the concentration of allowable deposits is highest in the delta of Krishna. No. This is incorrect. So only 2 pairs are correct. Question number 43, only 2 pairs. B is correct. Okay. 43, B is correct. In the context of the geographical extents of location of the mountain range, of the Indian, consider the correct sequence from north to south. Nalla Malla Hills, Javedi Hills, Palni Hills and Sevra Hills. Okay. So question number 44. First is Nalla Malla Hills, then Javedi Hills, then Sevra Hills, then Palni Hills. Okay. So the answer is A. Consider the nature of volcanic activities and the geodynamic significance of the ring of fire. Most volcanoes in the ring of fire are located at the destructive plate boundary, which where subduction of the oceanic plate under a continental plate occurs. Correct. The nature of volcanic eruption of the Hawaiian is explosive because of the predominance of acidic lava. Incorrect. The presence of volcano in the Pacific ring is limited only to the island arcs and has no relation to the continental coastal areas. Incorrect. So for 45, the answer is the A. Only one is correct, because in the ring of fire, the coastal area, continental coastal area has also a large number of volcanoes. In the context of ocean currents and their effects of coastal area, consider the following statement. The cooling effect of the Peruvian current on the western coast of South America is one of the major factors responsible for the formation of the Atacama Desert. Correct. Where a warm and cold currents meet, fog is generated, which is an obstacle in the navigation. Okay, but provide ideal condition for fishing. Correct. It is due to the influence of North Atlantic drift that the ports of Western Europe remain ice free. Yes, 46 all pairs are correct. For 46 all pairs are correct. Now consider the following. Consider the comparative geomorphological analysis of the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. The Western Ghats are not a true mountain range but a fault escarpment of the peninsular plateau whose height increases from north to south. Correct. The Eastern Ghats are not continuous but are dissected because the rivers falling into the Bay of Bengal have eroded them excessively. Correct. Anaimudi, which is the highest peak in South India, is located on the Nilgiri Hills. Incorrect. So 47, only 2 are correct, first and second. So B is the answer. For 47, B is the answer. In the context of planetary wind system and the forces determining their direction, consider the following. Due to influence of Coriolis force, wind in the northern hemisphere are deflected to the right of their original direction, while in the southern hemisphere, deflection is to the left. Correct. Polar sterlies are extremely dry and cold because they originate from the high pressure polar anticyclonic cell. Correct. Winds like the roaring 40s and furious 50s are more powerful in the southern hemisphere. In the northern hemisphere, the main reason being the presence of vast body. Yes. So for 48, all 3 pairs are correct. All 3 are correct. Options are correct. So 48, for 48, answer is C. For 48, answer is C. Now for 49, in the context of hemispheric characteristics and the effect of earth dynamics, consider the following statement. Due to the predominance of lithosphere in the northern hemisphere, thermal contacts is found to be more intense than in the southern hemisphere. Correct. It is due to the value of Coriolis force being 0 at equator, the tropical cyclones cannot form here. Correct. In the southern hemisphere, the speed and direction of ocean currents are determined only by the winds, while in the northern hemisphere it is influenced by the continental shape. Wrong. So 1 and 2 are correct. 49 is only 2 pairs are correct, because the direction of speed and direction is also determined by the Coriolis force. So for 49, only 2 are correct, first and second. Okay. For 49, B is correct. In the context of India's border location and geopolitical geography, consider the following statement. India's land border meets 7 countries, among which the border with Afghanistan is the longest, while the border with Afghanistan is the shortest. Yes, Bangladesh has the longest and the Among the northeastern states, India, only the Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland share in traditional boundary with Myanmar. Wrong. The red cliff line is the example of superimposed boundary between the India and Pakistan. Yes. So 1 and 3 are correct. Only 2 pairs are correct. B is the answer. In the context of nutrient enrichment effect in a wetland ecosystem, consider the following statement. An excess of nitrogen and phosphorus in water body leads to algal bloom, which obstruct the entry of the light at the upper surface of the water, correct? During the decomposition of dead algae, excessive oxygen is consumed by microorganisms, leading to a sharp decline in biological oxygen demand, correct? This process ultimately leads to excessive sedimentation of the water body and swallowing, through which it can be transferred into a terrestrial ecosystem, wrong. So for 51, only two pairs are correct, first and second, because nutrient enrichment leads to algal bloom and biological oxygen demand. Okay, sharp decline in biological oxygen demand, not the sedimentation. Now, question number 52. In the context of the change in the physical and chemical properties of ocean water, consider the following. An increase in the temperature of ocean water reduces its capacity to hold gases, which can lead to state of hypoxia in deep sea. Yes. Acidification of the ocean surface water reduces the availability of carbonates ion, which directly affect the rate of calcification, correct? The fresh water obtained from the melting of glacier in polar region increases the density of ocean water, reduces the density of ocean water, wrong. So 1 and 2, only two pairs are correct. 52, answer is B. For 52, answer is B. For 53, in the context of type of vegetation in India and their adaptation, consider the following statement. Some trees species set their leaves in the dry season to minimize the loss of water through transpiration. In the dry season, to minimize the loss of yes, some trees specify species, not in type of vegetation in India, all trees. Okay, plants growing in saline water have special roots that emerge upward against gravity to obtain oxygen. Yes, coniferous trees found in a high altitude have a pointed and waxy leaf, which provide them protection from extreme frost and snowfall. So 53, for 53, only two pairs are C, all pairs are correct. Okay, all are correct. In the context of atmospheric stability and the spread of pollutants, consider the following statement. In the condition of temperate inversion, a layer of cold air is situated above the layer of warm air, which helps pollutants spread horizontally. Yes, clear skies and calm winds on winter nights are ideal for calm winds inversion conditions, which increases the concentration of smog in the urban areas. During cyclonic conditions, there is extreme instability in the atmosphere, which takes pollutants vertically upward and reduces the concentration at the surface. So for 54, look, in the condition of temperature inversion, a layer of cold air is situated above the layer of warm air, which first is incorrect. Cold air is situated above the warm air. First is incorrect. So only two pairs are correct. Now consider the following affect the soil health. Excessive leaching of soil occurs more in areas where rainfall is very low, wrong, leading to the accumulation of salt in the, this is incorrect, because leaching is a process which takes place only in the area where rainfall is very heavy. The presence of humus in soil not only provide nutrients but also improve the water holding capacity. Yes. Symbiotic bacteria found in the roots of leguminous plants have the ability to fix atmospheric nitrogen directly into the soil, correct. So 55, 2 and 3 are correct. Okay, two pairs only. So 55B is the answer. Okay. Now, in the context of the Wildlife Protection Amendment Act 2002 and Protected Area of India, consider the following statement. Through this amendment, the provision of CITES Convention of International Trade and in Endangered Species have been formally incorporated into India's Indian domestic law. Yes, under this act, the number of provisions previous 6 schedules has been reduced to 4. Okay, and Kuno National Park, which was in the news due to the cheetah reintroduced project, primarily represent a semi-arid grassland ecosystem. So for 56, all pair are correct. 56, all pair are correct. Now, in the context of the ecology of bunny grassland and the communities there, consider the following statement. These are one of the largest natural grassland in Asia, located in the run of Kutch of Gujarat, and have been identified as a alternative habitat of cheetahs. Correct. The uncontrolled spread of exotic invasive species like Prosopis julifera has become a serious threat to the local grass species and ecological balance here. The Maldhari community here, who are traditionally nomadic pastoralists, depends on these grasslands and has recently been granted legal recognition under community forest right. Okay, so for 57, okay, C is correct. All 3 are correct. All 3 are correct. For 58, consider the provision of Forest Conservation Amendment Act 2023 and their potential impact. This act applies only to those lands which have been notified as forest and after 1980 or recorded as forest in government record, which limits in the scope of the decision in the T.N. Godawaran case. 58. Yes, this is correct. Forest land located within 100 km of the international boundary have been granted exemption from diversion of strategic national projects without prior permission of the central government. Correct. The establishment of zoos and safari has been removed from the category of non-forest activities. Yes, all 3 are correct. Now, consider the following pairs of important wildlife species of India and their conservation. Thank you, ma'am. Great Indian bustard, restricted to arid grassland of Rajasthan and Gujarat. IUCN status, critically endangered. Yes, correct. Sangai, endemic species found on the Fumdis of Loktak Lake. Yes, correct. Hangul, a relative of the European reindeer found in Dachigama National Park. Yes, correct. So 1, 2 and 3 are correct. All pair. So C is the answer. 60. Consider the international conservation related to the wildlife conservation and the role of India. The Global Tiger Forum, GTF, is the only international intergovernmental body dedicated to the tiger conservation with its headquarters located in New Delhi. Okay, correct. The objective of the Stockholm Convention is to eliminate the persistent organic pollutant that affect wildlife health through bioaccumulation. Correct. Under the Convention of Migratory Species, India has signed specific memoranda of understanding for the conservation of Siberian cranes and the marine turtle. Yes, correct. All 3 pairs are correct. 61. In the context of the methodological adopted by India in recent years for measuring gross value added and gross domestic and the change in the global supply chain, consider the following. If the central government significantly increases subsidies under schemes like production linked incentive to promote domestic manufacturing, the growth rate of GDP at market price may be lower than the growth rate of GVA. Look, GDP is always greater than the GVA. But here is, if the central government production link promote domestic manufacturing, the growth of GDP, okay, production linked incentive, so GVA factor cost will increase. Yes. According to the current statistical methodology, headline GDP is now calculated at market price instead of factor cost to harmonize. Yes. The recent surge in India's service sector export is helpful in reducing the gap between India's GDP and GNP. So 61, all pair are correct. In the context of current global economic uncertainties, in the impact on Indian national income, according to consider the following statement: the GDP deflator is more comprehensive measures of inflation compared to the consumer price index because it does not include price changes of imported goods but only includes domestically produced goods. (62) This is incorrect because GDP difference is more comprehensive measure of inflation compared to the consumer because it does not include price changes of imported goods but only include in the domestically produced goods and services. If there is a sharp increase in the crude oil price globally, India's real GDP may fall more rapidly than the nominal GDP. Provided domestic, yes. Despite a decline in the gross capital formation rate, if the GDP growth rate remains stable, it indicates an improvement in increment capital output ratio of the economy is higher efficiency. That is higher efficiency. So, question number 62, only 2 pairs are correct. 2 and 3 are correct. In the context of liquidity management strategies adopted by the Reserve Bank of India and their macroeconomics impact, consider the following: if the RBI implemented the incremental cash reserve ratio, its immediate objective is to absorb excessive liquidity in the banking system to control short-term inflationary pressure. Incremental cash reserve ratio is basically increasing the repo rate under the liquidity adjustment facilities. Not only increase the borrowing cost of the commercial bank but also pushes bond yield upward. Yes, correct. The amount obtained issuing bond under the market stabilization scheme can be used by the government to reduce fiscal deficit. 2 pairs, 2 and 3 are correct. In the context of risk weighted in the banking sector and the recent strict stance of RBI towards financial stability, consider the following: the objective of increasing risk weighted on unsecured personal loans is to force bank to maintain a higher capital adequacy to avoid potential future bad loans crisis. Correct. An increase in risk weighted automatically increases the lending capacity, decreases the lending capacity of bank because they have to keep. Incorrect. This step has been taken primarily to balance the growing gap between the credit growth and deposit growth. So 64B is correct. Consider the effect of digital payment. The circulation of retail rupee may weaken the intermediate role of bank because depositors might prefer to hold the central bank digital currency directly instead of keeping money with bank. Correct. The main advantage of wholesale rupee is to reduce interbank settlements cost and ensure the security of transaction in real time. Correct. The programmability features of the e-rupee help the government to ensure that end use of funds during that benefit transfer. Yes. So 65C is the correct answer. 66. Consider the role of bank in internal tradable debt in central economy. Bank can use the fund raised through green deposits only for financing environmental friendly projects, which is achieving. Correct. When the RBI sell government securities under open market operation, it leads to an expansion. Sell. Money bank. No, it will reduce. The problem of asset liability mismatch in bank arises when bank uses short-term deposits to finance long-term projects. Only two pairs are correct. 66B. Okay. In the context of banking regulation and prompt correction action framework recently in the news, consider the following. The prompt correction action framework applies only to the public sector banks, and its objective is to encourage banks to take proactive steps before becoming insolvent. 67. The primary standard for placing a bank under the PCA framework are capital to risk weighted assets ratio and not net performing assets and return on assets. Yes, once a bank comes under the purview of PCA, the RBI can impose restrictions. Yes, 2 and 3 are correct. Only 2 pairs are correct. Under the context of the changing relevance of quantitative tools, monetary policy and their transmission, consider the following. The marginal standing facilities rate is generally above the repo rate and act as a lender of last resort for banks during the times of severe liquidity shortage in the banking system. Correct. The standing deposit facility has replaced the reverse rate because it does not in exchange of absorbing liquidity. Yes, correct. If the RBI purchases security in the open market, it means it wants to increase liquidity. Yes. For 68, all are correct. Okay. 69. Consider the policy stance of the monetary policy. Accommodative stance means that RBI may cut rate in the future or keep them stable to boost economic growth. With withdrawal of accommodation means that the central bank is pulling back excessive cash from the system to keeping inflation within the. Yes, कर सकता है. Neutral from monetary policy indicates that policy rate can move in either direction. Yes, so all are correct. 69 का C is correct. Consider the surplus transfer by the RBI to the central government and the legal and economic basis behind it. According to the section 47 of the RBI Act 1992, the central bank transfer that portion of its profit to the government which in excess the amount required for its reserve and future contingencies. Correct. According to the recommendation of the Bimal Jalan Committee, it is mandatory for the RBI to maintain its contingent risk buffer between yes, 65 yes. This dividend given by the RBI to government, in which part of government non-tax revenue which help in the reducing the fiscal deficits. Correct. So 70, for 70 all are correct. Consider the following. Consider the use and impact of qualitative selective tools of monetary policy. Rationing of credit, it is used by RBI when it wants to limit the flow of credit to a specific sector. Correct. Moral suasion is an informal tool in which the RBI gives advice to or psychological pressures to commercial bank to act in accordance with its monetary policy. Increasing the marginal requirement reduces the borrowing capacity of borrowers. Correct. So 71 all are correct. For 72, consider the challenges of monetary policy transmission in the when the RBI reduces the repo rate. The failure of commercial bank to immediate reduce their lending rates called transmission lag. Yes. The low sensitivity of bank deposit rate to market rate is major obstacle to effective. Yes. The main objective of adopting the external benchmark lending rate system is to convey changes in the repo rate directly and quickly to the interest rate of the loans. Correct. So 72 all are correct. In the context of international of rupee and Vostro account in the Indian foreign trade, consider the following. A special rupee Vostro account allows foreign banks to hold rupee in India and settle trade transactions directly in rupee. Yes, Vostro account, reducing the demand of dollars. Correct. Internationalization of the rupee reduces India's exchange rate risk, but it may create challenges for the independent conduct of monetary policy by the Reserve Bank of India. Full capital accountable converter is mandatory condition for the internationalization of rupee. Yes, correct. So for 73, only 2 pairs are correct, first and third. First and third. In the context of the middle income trap and India's goal of becoming a development nation, consider the following. The middle income trap is a situation where a country loses its advantage of cheap labor force but is unable to compete with developed countries in the field of high value added innovation. Okay. Yes, this is correct. In the context of India, the transition of labor directly from agriculture to the service sectors may increases the productivity gap, which can become a major reason for falling into the trap. Yes, increased total factor productivity is the most effective way to avoid this situation, which include technological progress and the quality of human capital. Yes, so all pair are correct. So for 74, all three pairs are correct. Consider the carbon border adjustment mechanism and its potential economic impact on Indian sport. The European Union CBA may imposes a carbon tax on imports whose productions involve high carbon emission, which will directly affect India's steel and aluminium sector. Correct. This arrangement violates the WTO principles of non-discrimination because it ignores the common but differential responsibility of developing countries. Correct. One of the main objective of the implementation of India's carbon trading scheme is to reduce the impact of such border tax in industrial market. So 75 all are correct. Consider the growing spread of gig economy and its impact on gig workers are classified as independent contractors instead of traditional employees, due to which they remain deprived of the basic of minimum wage and pension under social security. Is correct. Algorithm management is a key feature of this gig economy, where allocation of work and evaluation of performance are done by the digital platform, which can be increased information asymmetry. The Gig Workers Registration and Welfare Act passed by the state like Rajasthan is the one. Yes, 76 all are correct. 77. Consider the recent evolution of angel tax and impact on the startup ecosystem. Angel tax was levied under section 56 to 7B of the income tax on the investment received by the unlisted companies in excess of their fair market values. The primary objective of the complete evolution of the tax is to increase the availability of capital for both domestic and foreign investors. Yes. To reduce fear of tax terrorism, this tax was applicable only to investment made by the foreign investors, while so only 2 pairs are correct, not only 3 is not correct. So 77B is the answer. 78. In the context of messenger RNA vaccine technology and the response of the immune system, consider the following statement. mRNA vaccine provided a synthetic blueprint to the body cell, allowing the cell themselves to produce viral antigen such as spike protein, which is different from the tradition in vitro antigen production. Correct. This technology is capable of activating both humoral antibody production and cell mediated immunity, providing long-term protection. Correct. The most important advantage of this method is that it does not use a live pathogen, making the risk of infection zero even in individuals with weakened immune system. Correct. All 3 are correct. In the context of gene editing by CRISPR-Cas9 and its genetic implication, consider the following statement. CRISPR technology can be used for both gene slicing and gene knocking. Okay, correct. 79. Change made in somatic cell therapy are limited to the patient lifetime only, whereas germline in editing can produce permanent change in the human gene pool. Correct. In India, national guideline for gene therapy products allow embryo editing for research purpose but prohibit in clinical use. Correct. All 3 are correct. Consider the prevalence of antimicrobial resistance and the evolutionary dimension of stem cell research. Selective pressure of antibiotics promotes the survival of those bacteria that have natural resistance, thereby transforming the entire colony into superbug. Okay, yes, correct. The biggest advantage of induced pluripotent stem cell technology is that it can eliminate the problem of immune rejection during organ transplantation by using the patient's own cell. Correct. Under the One Health approach, controlling antibiotic residues present in the environment is an indispensable part of the global strategy against AMR. Correct. All 3 pairs are correct. 81. In the context of the development of the launch vehicle portfolio of the National Indian Space Research Organization, consider the following statement. SSLV, small satellite launching vehicle, it provides an on-demand launch facility and uses solid fuel in all three stages, making it more cost effective compared to PSLV. Yes, LVMP is India's weakest rocket, which uses an indigenous transient upper stage to deliver heavy satellite to geosynchronous transfer orbit. NGLV, next generation launch vehicle, this new rocket being developed by ISRO will be partially reusable and is planned to be methanol as fuel. Wrong. So 2 pairs are correct, only 2 is correct. In the context of Indian Ballistic Missile Defense BMD program and recently tested missile system, consider the following statement. Agni 5, it is an intercontinental ballistic missile equipped with MIRV, multi-independently target re-entry vehicles technology, allowing a single missile to fire multiple nuclear warhead at different targets. 81 Interceptors missile, it is the 2-stage solid motor missile designed for low exo-atmospheric and Indo-atmospheric interception of long-range ballistic missiles and aircraft. Okay, correct. Pralay, it is India's first tactical semi-ballistic missiles developed specifically for conventional warfare with conventional weaponry. Yes, all 3 are correct. Consider the scientific objective of India's recent and upcoming space mission. Aditya L1, it is India's first solar mission which has been placed in a halo orbit around the Lagrange point 1 of the Earth's Sun system to study the Sun continuous without any occultation or eclipse. Correct. ExpoSat, it is India's first and the world's second mission to study the polarization of X-rays coming from the astronomical source like black hole and neutron stars. UPX mission, it is joint lunar exploration mission of ISRO and the Japanese Space Agency aimed at investigating the availability and quality of water at the south pole of the moon. Correct. So 83 all are correct. Okay. Now question number 84. In the context of the emergence of the private space sector and technical autonomy in India, consider the following statement. Vikram S, it is India's first privately developed rocket launched by Skyroot Aerospace Mission. Prarambh. Yes, correct. Agni Kul Cosmos, they have developed the world's first 3D printed engine, Agnilet, to be used in the Agniban rocket, which uses liquid fuel. Correct. In space, it is an autonomous nodal agency under the Department of Space that act as a single window. Correct. All 3 are correct. 85. In the context of the completion of complexity of Gaganyaan mission and human safety system, consider the following system. Crew escape system, it is a safety system that rapidly separates the crew module from the rocket in case of any anomaly during the flight, as recently demonstrated in the TVD1 test. Correct. Vyomitra is a female robotic humanoid that will be sent in the unmanned Gaganyaan mission to test the effect of space on the human body. Correct. Under the Gaganyaan mission, astronauts will be taken to a low Earth orbit to an altitude of 400 km and will be safely brought back and landed in the sea. Correct. All 3 are correct. With reference to the overseas citizen of India and card scheme, consider the following statement. OCI card holder have the legal right to purchase property such as agriculture, land or plantation in India. If a charge sheet is filed against OCI card holder for an offence punishable with imprisonment of for 7 years or more, their registrations can be cancelled. The OCI scheme was launched in 2005 and later POI card scheme was merged. Only 2 pairs are correct, 2 and 3. With reference to the proposed provision of the Constitution 130 Amendment Bill 2025, consider the following. This bill mandate that if the Prime Minister or Chief Minister remain in custody for more than 30 consecutive days for serious crime, they will be automatically removed from the office. Correct. This amendment will affect Articles 25, 164 and 239 AA, which related to the Council of Ministers of the Central State and Delhi. Correct. According to the bill, a complete ban has been imposed on the reappointment of the concerned person to the post after release from the custody. 87, only 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, 3 is not correct. Consider India's blue economy. India's blue economy currently contributes about 4% of the country's gross domestic product. Correct. India's exclusive economic zone is spread over 2.4 million square kilometer. Correct. A major challenges in the management of the blue economy is lack of integrated and coordinated strategy among various ministries and agencies. Correct. All 3 are correct. In reference to the new provision of the Income Tax Act 2025, consider the following statement. This act will replace the Income Tax Act 1961 and will be effective from April 1st, 2026. Correct. Okay. Under this act, the definition of undisclosed income has been expanded to include virtual digital assets. The provision of minimum alternative tax will be now apply only to non-corporate taxpayer, while it has been abolished for corporate taxpayer. Wrong. So 1 and 2 are correct. Only 1 and 2 are correct. So 89, B is the answer. C. With reference to the criteria for converting a small finance bank into a universal bank, consider the following. It is mandatory for a small financial bank to have scheduled bank status for last at least 5 years to obtain a universal bank license. The minimum net worth of the bank should be 1,000 crore and its share must be listed on a stock exchange. It is mandatory to change the existing promoters of the bank during the conversion process. No. So only 2 pairs are correct. 90, B is the answer. With reference to the indigenous defense production in India's and defense acquisition procedures DAP 2020, consider the following. Under DAP 2020, domestic procurement is prioritized over foreign procurement. Correct. 100% foreign direct investment is allowed through automatic route in the defense sector. The main objective of the positive indigenization list is to promote domestic manufacturing by banning the import of a specific defense item. So for 91, all are correct. Okay. Now, with the reference to the new provision of Income Tax Act 2005, this act will be effective from the 1st April. Yes, under the virtual digital assets have now been included in the definition of undisclosed income. Correct. The provision of minimum alternate will now specifically apply only to the non-corporate taxpayer. Wrong. So 92, B is the answer. Only 2 pairs are correct. With reference to the Sagarmala project, consider the following. The main objective of this program is to reduce the logistic cost through the modernization of ports and development of coast communities. Correct. Sagarmala 2025 especially focus on the shipbuilding, repair and development of old ports. In the last decades, an increase of the more than 50% has been recorded in the coastal shipping through this program. So 93, all are correct. Now, consider the following pairs of international award and program. So 94, Equator Initiative Award for a nature-based solution by local communities. Correct. Awaja Program of Action for challenge of landlocked development country. Correct. Sovereign credit rating, evaluate of countries' ability to repay debt. Yes, all are correct. With reference to the India's first commercial Earth observatory satellite system, consider the following. It is being constructed under the public-private partnership modeled by a consortium led by Pixel Space India. Okay. Yes, correct. For the project, the government will provide rupees 350 crore as a financial assistance to the private sector. Correct. The satellite included in the proposal system will be equipped with hyperspectral and microwave synthetic aperture radar. Correct. So all 3 are correct. 96, with reference to brain-computer interference technology, consider the following statement. This technology established communication with devices by directly converting brain neural signals into commands. Correct. The recently developed mental password aim to ensure user privacy and data security. Correct. BCI can only be used with devices that have been surgically implanted into the brain. Wrong. So 1 and 2 are correct. With reference to FASTag and the recently announced annual pass facility, consider the following. FASTag is a short-range device based on radio frequency identification technology. Correct. Under the annual pass facility, the unlimited toll plaza crossing will be allowed for 1 year on a one-time payment. Okay. This is incorrect. In RFID technology, radio waves are used for data transfer between the tag and the radars. Correct. So 1 and 3 are correct. Under the reference of Goswami Tulsidas ji, consider the following. He was a prominent saint of Ramananda, set in the tradition of Jaguru Ramachandracharya. He composed Ramacharitamanus in the Braj language at Assi Ghat in Varanasi. Okay. No, this is incorrect. He was a poet of the Saguna Bhakti stream who preached devotion to Lord Rama. This is correct. 1 and 3 are correct. Now, consider the following subject initiative and reason states. Sundarban Tiger Reserve, West Bengal, correct. Matri One Initiative, Gurugram, yes, correct. Stalin Hydroelectric Projects, Arunachal Pradesh, correct. 99. C is the answer. 100. Last question. The All India Speakers Conference commemorated the contribution of Vallabhbhai Patel on the completion of 100 years of him becoming the first Indian president, August in 1925, of the Central Legislative Assembly. In this context, consider the following. Vallabhbhai Patel was the elder brother of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and played an important role in the formation of Swaraj Party. Correct. He also served as the mayor of Bombay Municipal Corporation during the 1923-1925. Correct. He was also elected as a member of the Imperial Legislative Council in 1918. Correct. So all 3 are correct. Okay. So option 100, that answer is D. So this is, so I have discussed 100 question. I hope you all have seriously taken this question. Okay, these questions are very important for your coming examination. Okay.